Hi, friends. If you are a parish worker in the Catholic Church, or you're just somebody in the Catholic parish that wants to serve your Spanish speaking community more, I want you to stick around and meet Nelly Sosa, founder of the Spanish blog. In English, it's the Mint Tree. In Spanish, it's called El Árbol Menta. And Nelly has a ton of resources for Spanish speaking Catholics. For example, we were just talking before we got on about NFP practitioners that speak Spanish. We're going to talk to Nelly and really learn, the challenges that someone who doesn't speak English as a first language, living in America as a Catholic, and what we can do as English speaking Catholics to serve our brothers and sisters that speak Spanish as a first language. So, welcome so much, Nelly. Thank you so much for agreeing to talk with me tonight and to do this interview. Could you tell everyone about yourself, where you're from, where you live now, and how you started your blog?
Thank you, Emmy. It's my pleasure to be here. It's something that I've been waiting for a few weeks, couple of months that we finally made it work, and I'm happy to be here. As Amy said, my name is Nelly. I am from Mexico. My husband and I were born in Mexico. That it's Monterrey. It's a big industrial city, and all of the sudden, after we got married, the Lord had something in store for us. He took us on route us from Monterey and took us to town, and that's where we have been since almost ago, since we got married. We're raising our children here, and trying to grow where He planted us, and this is the place where El Árbol Menta was born.
There seems to be a little delay. I don't know, but we'll just keep moving. So, so you're actually Mexican citizens, and you guys are here to work visa. Do you know if you're going to be here much longer? Do you think you'll be here your whole lives? What are you thinking?
Well, we are now residents, so it seems like the Lord wants us here for a while. Um, or kids definitely see this place as their home. They were born here, so we don't see when we will move back to Mexico, because everything seems to keep pointing to this specific place, not even any other place in America, but this little town. So we're certainly excited to see what the Lord does with us and with our kids in this place. We love the country living. It's crazy how the Lord changed our mindset to this kind of country living with no noise, with no distractions. But it's beautiful. I mean, we love it. We love that our kids are growing in faith without all the noise that we see in the world today. We're a homeschool family too, so it's something that I don't think I would have done if we still be living in our hometown.
Right. Oh wow, yeah, I forgot you did homeschooling too. So
Yeah.
can we talk about your blog, because I know that we've met. Oh gosh, I think it was 8 years ago. We kind of connected, and you would tell me that there weren't a lot of Spanish blogs, or blogs for Catholic moms that were written in Spanish. So I know you started this El Arbor Menta, which is the mint tree. Can you tell us like more about what topics and articles we can find on that blog, and which have been the most popular?
Yes. Well, a little bit of the story of El Árbol. I was such a baby in my faith at the time when the Lord hit me hard with an arrow of, first of all, getting to know my faith, and then evangelizing fiercely. It's something that it still blows my mind, because I don't know how he was able to really knock hard on my heart and change my life, and for the best, in terms of my faith. And after this happened, I started to search. I randomly went to this Catholic women conference that a friend of mine invited me, and I was like, okay, let's go, let's see what. And there was one of the speakers was talking about how important it was to go out go out into the social media and start spreading the faith, and starting blogs. She was very, very direct, like, we need to start more blogs, people need to see what's in the heart of a Catholic woman, and this and that. And I was like, I want to do that, but I have no idea, absolutely no idea on how to do it. And then I think around the same time, your blog, Prayer One Chocolate, was one of the first ones I read, together with To Jesus Sincerely from Sarah. And I was like, this is great. This is exactly what this lady was talking about, right? So I was like, this is amazing. And it was such an encouragement to me, because it finally made me see that the faith could be lived in a normal way outside of the church, that you can still be a cool woman and be faithful, right? Not just these misconceptions we had of how the life of a Catholic woman was when we were growing up, or probably that only our grandmas were the ones that will practice their faith, and which was great, but you couldn't relate with them because we were younger. So it was that's why I felt so moved, and every little thing that I read, I was like, yeah, we definitely do this. And I started to search for stuff in Spanish, and I couldn't find anything. There were some major outlets like Catholic Link that it's been around in Spanish for a while, which is great, but it's more like articles, more informative, not as it didn't used to be that way at that time. And I freaked out, because I said, how am I going to do that if it doesn't even exist? What is people going to think about it? More than that, I mean, people knows me and know that I wasn't like the most the lady who was most into her faith growing up and stuff like that. So there were many challenges, but I have to say that you guys inspire me a lot.
I'm cracking up because I never heard that. I don't remember ever hearing that. So thank you. That's amazing. Wow. So now though you have, I mean, this blog goes back some years now. And at one point you had 17 writers. You said you have about 13, 14 writers now. I don't know how much you look at your statistics, but could you tell us just some, like, how about the last couple blogs that were published? What were the topics? What are people talking about? And what are people really coming to your site for, like your most popular blog?
Well, I have to say that, well, first of all, the árbol menta vision was to be a place for Catholic women in different ages and stages to find a place to grow in joy and in faith. Because I wanted to, to break with that wall of faith is not boring, faith is not you can to make it approachable, right, for women. So that's what I try to do. So in the beginning, I started to write of what the new things that I was learning about my faith. I invited a friend, which is the co-founder, Jackie. I owe her a lot, and she was way further in her faith, and I owe her my devotion to Mary and many things that even the Eucharistic miracles, I didn't even know about Eucharistic miracles, and she was the one who told me, hey, I think you need to look into this, right? So the first blogs that we wrote were more on the things we were discovering in our faith, the things we were reading, the conference we went, and this and that. Nowadays, we have very specific, like on Mondays, we usually talk about our insights of the Mass. On Tuesdays, we discuss marriage or family life stuff. On Wednesdays, Wednesdays are dedicated to homeschool, to Catholic homeschool, because many of our writers are homeschool moms. I would say easily half of us are homeschool moms. On Thursdays, we do Eucharistic Thursday, where we talk about or really our experiences during Eucharistic adoration, or taking our kids to mass, stuff like that. And then on Friday, every other Friday, we have Soltería en Cristo, which is for girls who are discerning, single girls who are discerning their vocation, because we have there's 3 of our writers who are single still, and we have 1 consecrated woman too. So we have
Like a
also
consecrated virgin, or she's actually in an order.
yes. So we also have her perspective, and it's been very rich, because we have, and
She's not a nun. She just is a consecrated virgin.
exactly.
Wow.
Exactly. It has been, she's now my my spiritual she doesn't want to call herself director, but she is, she walks with me in my spiritual life, and she's amazing. So
Wow.
I would not say that there's one topic or the other. Probably this year homeschool has been the one that people look more into it, because we have 2 big friends that have been have contributed at the árbol, menta and stuff, who are very well known in the homeschool world in Mexico. And I would say homeschool, I would say Eucharistic Thursday has been very look for it, and marriage as well. I think we always want to grow in, or even get the little tip on how to solve this, or how to approach the Lord in prayer for some sort of situation or something. So I think those 3 are the most.
So you mentioned some of your writers live in Mexico. Do most of them live in Mexico? Do some of them live in the United States? Where do they live?
Most of them live in Mexico. We have people in Monterrey, in Querétaro, which is in the center of Mexico. We have someone who is in, 2 of them live in Dallas. They're from Mexicans too, but 2 of them live in Dallas. One of them lives in some other place in Texas, and 1 more in Arizona. The rest of them are spread in different places of Mexico.
And you want to tell them where you're from, where you live, where you live right now?
Oh yeah, we live in Pennsylvania, Grove City. It's a little town in Pennsylvania, close to Pittsburgh, like an hour away from Pittsburgh.
So is Pittsburgh but Pittsburgh is a different diocese, right? Because you're in Erie.
We're right in the middle. We're an hour away from Pittsburgh, an hour away from Erie.
Oh, okay.
We're like
right in the middle.
Yeah.
So, as a Spanish-speaking Catholic, what challenges do you face? Because you did share with me that most people in your parish do not speak Spanish. And I'm wondering what kind of, what could be better in the churches and the parishes that have growing Spanish communities, but everybody who works at the parish is not bilingual, or there's very few bilingual people in the parish. How can we serve Spanish-speaking Catholics better, and what has helped you along the way during your journey?
I would say one of the richness that I have found here, when I first started to dig into my faith and to get deeper, I loved the vast array of resources that I found here, for not just for myself or for my husband, but especially for children, right? I found this incredible, visually attractive, beautifully profound, well explained array of materials, and I was a little envious. I have to say, I was like, this is great. If we only had this. Not to talk about the children's area that many churches have, because we were just discussing that. I don't know if it was a friend of my husband. We don't have that in Mexico. I mean, if there's a parish that has it would be 1 in 100 or something, right? So the first thing that I noticed, or my first thing that I thought is, wouldn't it be awesome if all of these resources were also in Spanish, if we could have them in Spanish, and all these journals, Amy's journals. I mean, I was like, this is, when I saw them, I was like, this is amazing. This could do incredible things for youth, for the youth, in Spanish speaking countries, if we had them in the. So I started to look for, even to send stuff to my nephews and stuff, and I can't find almost anything in Spanish. My friends who live there, people who live there, will have to. My kids, I would get all the books in English, and I would translate them directly. But when they started to learn how to how to read, they were like, "That's not what it says." And I was like, "I know. I'm trying to teach you in Spanish as well, right?" So I think that the lack of resources, printed materials, and books is it's sad. I cannot talk about. I know some parishes. I think in Pittsburgh we found a parish that had missals that were half Spanish and half English, which I thought was great. But there are some remote areas like this one where we don't have that.
So that's a challenge, definitely, the print material, you're saying that,
Mm-hmm.
and resources
Mm-hmm.
for the children. What
Yeah.
are what can we do? I don't know how much a parish worker could, access that, but are there things like, are you able to engage in your parish community? And could you want to share a little bit about, you know, um, how that has gone for you? And go ahead, you talk on it.
Mm-hmm. Sure. We have a specific case of a family who just moved a few months away from Ecuador, and both of them, this guy had his sacraments. The lady didn't, and as they started to come to church with us, they were like, it would be nice if she can have her first Holy Communion and stuff. And when we approached our priest, he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna have to ask for your help because we don't have anyone, at least in this parish or in the nearby parishes, that speak Spanish." So we were like, "Wow!" But is there any videos or materials that we could find in Spanish? And there weren't as many, as at least as we were expecting. So that's another challenge when people, Latino people, by I don't want to say by nature, but by tradition, um, Catholicism, it's in the depths of their heart. Of course, they've been challenged with many other influences and stuff. I don't want to. It's been hard for even for our community to remain Catholic as well, and I think that's the same in every all the world, right? But I feel like when someone has this desire of get deep into their faith and they don't find the resources, that's something that we really need to work on, because we want those souls to definitely get the Lord and know the Lord better, right?
Yeah, you have me thinking. So I saw a speaker recently, and she was from Central America, and I'm pretty sure she speaks Spanish. And she just shared her story, um, and it was phenomenal. It was phenomenal. So it sounds like, wouldn't it be great if someone like you and other Spanish speaking Catholics just kind of shared their testimony with other Spanish speaking Catholics? Since, you know, we'll have to, well, you just help translate into the deep, right? Do you want to talk a little bit about that? Hold for a minute. Let me finish this thought.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
you know, we're working, and Nelly and I are going to contact my publisher and hopefully get the Be Yourself journals translated into Spanish. And we just want to really kind of, what's great is God put Nelly here, and now Nelly's translating everything. So while we're working on that, though, wouldn't it be great to find some Spanish speaking speakers that have a great faith story, and to share that, so it could be an event where people come together and just listen. And another thought I was thinking, and we're starting to hopefully get prayer wine chocolate into parishes, is just simply praying the rosary together, where maybe half the people either half Spanish, half English, but we know we're all praying the same prayers. That could be a really powerful experience too. So
I
sorry, I spit a lot of things out there.
That's wonderful, Amy. That's a great idea that I'm definitely going to put into consideration. That's wonderful.
Yeah. So talk to about Into the Deep.
Okay. So as I was telling you, when I started to see all these beautiful things here with these wonderful authors, some of them I met through Catholics Online, and we're going to talk about that in a little while as well. I was like, this is so wonderful. And then the Lord put in my heart. It all started because like 3 years ago, I met Jose, who is also a member of Catholics Online, and he was having an online conference, Catholic conference, and out of random, he he invited me, and I was like, "This is so awesome! This is great." And then after that first connection, it came the opportunity of starting a podcast on Eucharistic miracles, which is something that the Lord really plays very clear in my heart.
Wait, it's a Spanish speaking podcast?
Yeah, this is
What is the name of it?
Milagros Eucharísticos para Niños.
Well, you'll have to give that to me in writing and I can put it in the show notes. Is
Yes.
that Jose? So Jose runs, what is the name of what he runs? I forget.
Juan Diego Networks.
Juan Diego Network. Okay. Yeah.
Mhm.
So,
And
yeah, go ahead.
And so after this, long story short, we were super excited. Denise is one of my closest contributors from the blog. And we were like, yes, we can do this. You and me with our children and this and that. It's going to be awesome. Guess what? We started to record some, like the trailer or the first one. And it was awful. I mean, it wouldn't just... we didn't have the chemistry at all. The kids were like, yes, no, blah blah blah. And it was like I was so heartbroken because I felt like the Lord was asking me to do this. And same thing when we were starting to research on what podcast we have in Spanish for kids about this topic, we couldn't find anything at the time. And I was like, this is so sad. We were about to drop the project, but luckily and blessedly, Jose and his team didn't let us. He was like, no. We have the idea. We need to work it better. We have to do it. And then at one point, I told my husband, I don't know. I mean, we already tried. It's not working and this and that. And one day he says, would you let me try? And I'm like, if you want to, but I was so discouraged at the time. I was like, I don't know, maybe this is not for us. So when he tried, and then we invited also Denise's husband. He tried as well, and it didn't work. And then we said, okay, go ahead, you and the two kids, Denise, girl, and Marcelo, my son. And it turns out that Jose loved it, and they're like, yeah, this is what we were looking for. This is so great, and this and that. And
so wait a minute, who are the hosts of this podcast now?
My husband, and Marcelo and Denise, my friend's Denise daughter. They three are the host of the.
So your husband's the adult, and then those two kids. That's
Yes.
fantastic. That's all.
Yeah, but it's. I said, God, if this is what you want, we only wanted to put it right there for people who are searching for this kind of materials. And from that, all of this to say that after that, I was very clear, like, if I'm going to do this, if I want to do something for the Spanish-speaking public, it has to be something related with the Eucharist, because I feel like if we don't have that, we don't have anything. I mean, if people don't get it, if kids don't grow up embracing the true presence of Jesus in the Eucharist, they're going to leave the faith. So I was into this when Alisa from Catholics Online, which is a very good friend, Alisa McCarty,
Yes.
she sent me an inbox one random day, and she says, hey, I have a friend who is searching for someone who translate her materials. I have to say that we were already using Into the Deep as our homeschool religious materials. And when she told me, I was like, I went all I'm like, are you serious? I just love Into the Deep. So, anyways,
So
the
is Into the Deep a curriculum for homeschooling families? Is that what that is?
yes and
Okay.
no. 'Cause in the beginning, they are also a homeschool family, but it's so good that even families who are not homeschool are using them. Even some parishes are using the materials today. And so, what she wanted us to translate, because I did it with some of our friends with our team at árbol menta. She wanted for us to translate the mass unit, which is a shorter version of their materials, but it's really a big boom because it explains the the mass with all its parts in a beautiful, engaging way. Together with it includes music, paintings, poetry. It's something that it's amazing, and it's also like you don't have to prepare anything. You just read everything because it's like a script
Mhm.
for parents or teachers. So it's wonderful. So I really have to say that this project came to us through Catholics Online because Alisa is a friend that I met there, and really I was trying to translate materials before, and it wasn't the timing. Something happened, and it didn't happen at the last minute, and this happened. This flows so easily that I just said, "This is a gift from the Lord and an honor," because I'm super
Mhm.
excited that Spanish-speaking families can have this on their hands and really share this with their kids. It's just it's an
I've
honor
seen
for us.
Into the Deep on Instagram, and the art always makes me stop and be like, oh, it's beautiful. I don't know if Mary Claire does all the art or just some of it, but she's amazing.
I
So
I think
Nellie has mentioned Catholics Online, how she met and how she connected. So if you go to CatholicInfluencers.com, Nellie is on there, I'm on there, and a lot of these people that we're talking about were just different Catholics that have a heart for evangelization and run ministries and blogs. And not only are we listed there, but we have become friends through a Facebook group, and we try to like support and connect each other, which that's amazing. I'm so glad that you were able to connect with the creator of Into the Deep through Catholics Online. So that's awesome. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
no,
But
no, 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 no way. Yeah, so I would say I just have this big desire of bringing the faith in our Spanish language to people, especially to people here in the U.S., because I've seen firsthand how they struggle. This family I was talking about from Ecuador, they have a kid, and he's gonna start his prep for first communion, and we were just talking with our faith formation director, and if he could search for the book that are going to use, if it's available in Spanish and this and that. And he said, I think it is. And they said, it's not. What are we going to do? And I'm like, exactly. We need in Spanish to
yeah,
serve Wednesdays, people that they already have the faith desire to know the Lord better. It's ingrained in their culture, and you wanted to honor that, right, and do what they need to get to know Jesus better.
yeah. So I guess do you feel like that puts a lot of pressure on you, or are you just happy to help? Like, do you hope that the diocese finds a couple more English speaking Spanish Catholics, or how do we get more people who are bilingual to get involved? You got any thoughts on that?
That's a very good question, Amy. That's a very, very good question because I think one other challenge, and maybe I'm going to other topic right now, but I feel like some other challenge that Latino speaking people have in this country is that there's a lot of Protestant churches, and somehow when they feel like they're alone, I mean, if they don't find a community that embraces them, they easily go to some other churches because they find, even when they don't speak the language, sometimes, I don't know, we Catholics have the temptation, I would like to say, to be very rigid or to expect that people follow the rules even when they're just looking through the window. So we sometimes expect that they do everything, come to church and come to adoration. And
Yeah.
we sometimes that's something that we could, I think, change in general, to keep them close to our communities, to our churches, to our parishes. I would definitely think that the bilingual approach will be great, the one that you're mentioning. I haven't thought about that, and I really think it would make a big difference, um, to approach them in that way, and also not to expect that they are the only ones that adapt, but also to bring a little bit of their culture to our parishes as well. I was very thankful last year. Our pastor invited invited us to present, to give a presentation on Our Lady of Guadalupe in English, but it was wonderful. I felt so happy. Some people didn't even knew the story and stuff like that. So I think we both can make an effort, to make the adaptation of these people better, right? Being open also to their culture and to learn their language. Why not too?
Yeah. So I live in the Archdiocese of Philadelphia, so I think we're a little bit blessed here because I do know that there are Spanish masses people can go to. Because as you were talking, I was like, geez, do they go to confession? Do people that don't know English yet, are they hesitant to go to confession? Are there priests they can
They're
go to confession to?
they can. Or priest told him, you cannot. You're always welcome. He understand a little bit, but he says you're always welcome. But of course, they're like, what? Or for things, things, RCIA stuff or something. It's like they want to go, but they know they need to have someone translating for them and stuff. So
Mhm.
that's discouraging, right? That's
Mhm.
discouraging at times for them. Not impossible, but yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my goodness. So, what do
Yeah.
you wish if you could right now? I'm introducing you, say, to all these as a parish staff, and what do you want to tell them? How can they reach out to their Spanish communities a little bit more this week, this month, this year?
I would say we can start doing bilingual stuff, getting the people used to, what, we're gonna have a presentation, but we're gonna be simultaneously translating or stuff like that. I think that would be the first, the easiest and the fastest thing we can do, probably. I mean, to be respectful of them and not, because I would do that sometimes with my catechism kids, and they would stare at me like, "What are you doing? Wait a minute." I mean,
But the rosary? Are you talking about the rosary?
no, even when we were having a catechism class with the kids, and we had this kid visiting or something, I was like, say in English and then say in Spanish, and the other kids were like, what? And I'm like, we're gonna have to translate, guys, because I need to translate a few things
Right.
for this kid. So maybe the first thing would be, yeah, to say, hey, we're gonna have I don't know if they happen to have only one person that speaks Spanish. We're gonna have someone that help us translate, so people gets used to that. That's the reality of the parish community.
Right. Right. Right.
It's a bilingual reality, and we all need to embrace it and be patient and
Right.
be inclusive with that.
Yeah. And I guess people, I don't mind that too much, right? Like, I guess I don't know. I know that, yeah. I mean, that's what you have to do, I guess, and it's great because then you have people together, and right, just it's
Yeah.
better to be
Also,
together for some.
also and an easy move will be also to get a few bilingual missals
Mm.
that I know that they exist because I saw them once. So
Yeah.
even if you and put some little signs that say, "Hey, are you bilingual? Here's your," or "Do you speak
Mhm.
Spanish? Here are take a missal or stuff like that in their own language. I think, and that's the basis of it. Because like this family, they tell me, I wish I could understand. I'm like, what I usually do is I open for them the the readings in Spanish, and then they kind of follow, but it's not the same because you still have that feeling that they don't have a book for me here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well,
So
and I do like that they can come, especially the women watching that are, Spanish is their first language or they speak Spanish, and they could read your blog. And do you find people commenting under blog articles and reaching out to you, asking questions?
yeah, we've had some, and it's interesting. Like a few of our contributors of the blog started to read, and then one of them that used to write with us too, she was from Miami as well, and I feel like at El Árbol Menta they feel like I felt when I first read your blog, but a little bit more because it's in their own language, right? I felt like that, like there's a space for me here in the US, right? But then there's a plus, there's a space for a woman like me here, and they speak Spanish too. So one of the things that opened my eyes, and I haven't really, like I was telling you when we were first chatting, I didn't realize the impact of El Árbol Menta in the US until a friend was asking online if we knew, a friend from here was asking if we knew natural family planning practitioners who speak Spanish, because they were having a problem in their parish where Latino people were coming and asking on learning natural family planning, and they were like, oh yes, about that we have people who can help you, but they don't speak Spanish. So I said, hey, well, I do have two wonderful women who are Creighton method practitioners, and they happen to be on board in our blog. I mean, they're contributors there. We have amazing contributions from them. You can look up for that if you are from a parish who has a Latino community, or even if it's just one person.
Right,
Because
right.
sometimes those are the most in need, right? And I sent her the contacts of these two friends, and she's like, great, I'm gonna pass this on to my priest. He's gonna be super excited because we've been asking around and we haven't found anybody who does that here. So I feel like our blog has information on that. Our blog has information on homeschooling, which sometimes when you come as a Latino and you learn about homeschooling, that was our case, right? We're like, of course, we want to do this. I mean, why not? We want to have our kids here. We want to teach them about the faith, especially if you live in little towns like us, because that's how we ended up homeschooling at first, because we didn't have any private schools around. We have, I mean, our blog is like an open prayer journal where you find situations that people has gone through, how they started homeschooling. We have a good one on how do you start a homeschool community when you're the only one that you don't know anybody in your area. We have different things on why should I keep homeschooling. All of these things that sometimes cross our minds, and we think no one will share that with us, that concern or that issue at the moment, right? So I think the homeschooler experiences should be very, very much needed for Latino communities
Yeah.
in the U.S.
Yes, especially today, because if you're if you're an immigrant and you're coming here and you're starting with, I don't know, like you said, you don't live near a private school. The public schools are depending on where you live, not sharing our values. So yeah, I can see where that would be definitely important.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we have that. I would definitely recommend to go through or natural family planning articles. We've been very committed to this topic since probably 5 years ago. So we have a good amount of material on that, on homeschool too, and also after the Eucharistic Congress that I was dying to go to, but we weren't able. Yeah, we're very committed on showcasing why the Eucharist matters and why it can keep you and your children Catholic, and it really is his or fuel. So I think if a Spanish speaking family or parish you want to show, or Latin community, why they need to stay Catholic when they cross to this country, you will find a good amount on motivation and inspiration on that as well.
Wonderful. And I remember you and I talking before how much you love adoration. So I just hope Catholic parishes are communicating to their Spanish speaking parishioners that, you know, if you have an adoration chapel and you need people to sign up for an hour, that they have that, they know that, you know, they're needed too, because we want to fill those hours for that perpetual adoration. So,
and also, Amy, that's another very important thing. If you have a Latino community and you don't have a holy hour of adoration, please talk to your priest about it, because really there's no language there. I mean, if you have a Latino community, you need to have an adoration chapel, because there are no language barriers with the Lord.
yeah.
So
Amen.
that's not
Yeah.
service that they would be very thankful for.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
yeah.
That's beautiful. I think we should end on that note. I think that's perfect. Unless, did you want to talk about anything else? I don't.
I just want to say thank you to Catholics Online. I think since when I first started, I thought I was the only woman in the whole world who would, besides Amy and Sarah, who would know what I was feeling. And then, I mean, the Lord really, it was a random blessing where I was scrolling through Facebook, and then I saw that you were starting Catholics Online, and I was probably, the árbol menta was like a year or 2 years old at that time. And I was very hesitant, struggling, thinking, no one's reading this. I'm going to just delete the whole thing and whatever. And I remember telling my husband, I need to join this group. This is what I need. And it really was one of the biggest surprises and blessings of my life to get to know this community, to be inspired by them, to see how much they love their faith, how much they love the Lord and Our Lady. It was very, very inspiring. And how professional they were also, because like I said, I was just starting. Some of them were already publishing books. Some of them had a whole Emily, right? Gloria Marketing. That some of them were like, oh man, they were like the smartest Catholic people I know. I was so happy to find myself in the midst of this community. So really, if you have the desire of evangelize and you don't know how to start, or if you are already there and you feel hesitant about sharing your faith, I so recommend you to join Catholics Online. It's been one of the best things of my blogger life.
I mean, I'm so blessed to know you. And that's this funny thing though. You think you're the only one, and you're not. But we can just do so much more for Christ, so much more for the Lord when we come together and we network with one another, and we just become friends, and we support one another. And it's amazing what can happen when you do that. So that's praise the Lord. Thank you, Jesus.
Oh yes, definitely. Yeah, wonderful. Thank you. Keep the good job, Amy. It's great.
Oh, thank you. Let's pray for me, pray for our whole community. I'll keep you in my prayers too.
Thank you.
We've talked about a lot of things here, so we're going to make sure that below this video there are links and a little more information, so that if you want to look into finding the Spanish Into the Deep or Catholics Online or one of the other things we spoke about, you'll be able to find it. So thank you so much for joining. Please like, subscribe, and share this video, especially if you are in a community that wants to serve your Spanish speaking brothers and sisters in Christ more, because we need them to know about Nelly, know about El Armaento, and just that, like we said, once you connect with one person that shares your values and it has the same goal as you tend to meet more and more, and you connect with the people who the Lord is trying to get you to work with. So awesome. Thank you so much, Nelly.
Thank you. Thank you.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.